And let's hope, Trina, that this actually works.
Absolutely. Like we
It says that we are live. Do you
Hi,
see that?
everyone.
Hello, everybody. We think we're live. We really do.
Yes, we're live.
We are live. All right.
Right.
Major updates are the Zoom is acting weird, and so yeah, it looks like we are live. So this is a good thing, you
Oh my
know. Oh, folks,
technology.
this is about as real as it can get.
It
And we
is.
hope that we'll just continue to stay with you on this one because I got to tell you, Trina, it's just like it's almost like it's drunk. Does that make
Really?
sense? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the
well,
whole
I know that
Zoom.
there's a serious like delay. I'm like, yeah, it's really weird and it's like the wheel just keeps spinning and I've never seen it do that before.
Well, there is, I want to get this. Give me 1 second. So, there is, and I want to give you the little nasty bug that is going around. And so give me a chance because I can pull it up. It's called log4j. Now, this little bug, do you remember Y2K?
Yeah.
All the big hubdug. I mean, my company made a ton of money on that. But anyway, so this code, this little log J4 is causing havoc because it's written in every code in every language that's out there, and it's a flaw.
Uh-oh.
And it is said that this little piece of code caused Amazon's cloud to go down. And everyone experienced that last week. YouTube was out, Google was out, Facebook was out, everybody is out, and they can't find it fast enough
Mm.
because it's propagated everywhere. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a part of it or not. So we'll just say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Happy solstice, everyone. It
Yes.
is solstice day. And, so Trina, the tradition, because we don't know if we can share documents. We just tried this and it was flipping out.
Not cuckoo. Yeah.
It was not good. So I may just read some of this, but
Awesome.
anyway, it is solstice day 2021 or whatever the date is.
You're right.
Um, so I just want to say that, Trina, and just sending you much love. And we send Zodiac love as well. We know
Thank you.
Zodiac is there. And,
Yes.
saw Cody earlier, and Cody's feeling kind of blue, but,
Yeah. A
yeah,
little bit. A little
yeah,
bit. But we'll get there. It's just hard. She was just part of the family.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's again, it validates my belief system, and everyone has their own, but this is the realm of the dead. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing stays alive here. We're under this illusion that somehow, but anyway, I digress. But we send our love to you, and we were all with you, and all of us, I think, in a way, we're kind of grieving.
I felt y'all and I so appreciate it. And thank you so much for the well wishes. You guys just make everything so much shinier.
That's because we're shining lights.
That's it. So I
Yeah,
was like, what? Shinier, brighter, light. Yes,
yeah.
love. Your love is a light, and I can see it and feel it. So thank you.
Well, we love you, Trina, and and Zodiac as well, and Cody and everyone else. So
Yeah, I asked Brian to come and escort her, and his hat fell off my mirror that night, and because she was getting put down the next morning, and it was amazing because he literally tipped his hat and said, "Gotcha."
that's so Brian-esque. I mean, it
Right?
is, it's just doesn't surprise me a bit. And,
Me neither.
no.
Neither.
I know with my wife, I was telling you earlier that, she had Dolly, which was before Dancer, and Dolly actually passed away right in her arms. Probably Mike Zodiac did. And with you and, Dancer still sees Dolly because Dolly passed right here. And so we've always acknowledged Dolly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and Lynn will testify that that dog has been at her bedside and barked, and that's what Dolly would do to get her up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had that experience with my Rottweiler when she passed, and I'm already starting to feel Zodiac as well. So I believe that too. I know it.
Well, they got, it's always the debate in the theology that I was in. It was that, well, animals have a soul, but it's not a living soul.
You know, interesting enough, I wonder that, because even when I would see years ago, if I would go to a psychic, when Sedona was in my life, and even when she was not in my life physically, they would always ask me, what is this big black beast? They would always ask me that. What is this big black animal? What is this big black beast? What is this? I'm like, oh, that's my Rottweiler. They're like, she's huge. I'm like, yeah. So they people who never knew me before, nothing, still sense the presence of my Rott.
I believe that. I mean, I've seen enough because we got cameras all over the world now. And I mean, some of the most remarkable videos, the one that really struck me was the one that showed a deer that had been hit by a car. And it was, one of these CCD cameras on property. And it showed the deer at the moment of death. It went down. And then almost immediately, the camera picked up the spirit of the deer. Now, I would call it a spirit. Maybe it's a soul, but nevertheless, and it was really interesting because if many of you ever watched that, the paranormal captured on camera, it was remarkable because the deer kind of staggered a minute and then it seemed to grasp that it was now in the next realm.
Yeah, just like that, and no problem. And
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what happens to us too. I really do.
I'm convinced of it. I mean, we're in winter solstice because now the sun, it doesn't really move for the next 3 days. It's only a phenomenon that takes place in the northern hemisphere. Doesn't happen in the south. And there is so much of who we are as a species tied to this particular solstice time, because this is the time of, number one, the final death, because on the 25th, renew of life begins.
Yeah, it is too. It's about going into that tomb 3 days. And, with this planetary conjunctions right now too, with, oh my goodness, this is Jupiter and Saturn are involved, Uranus and
Well,
Mercury.
Uranus is in the house of Taurus, I believe. And as it entered into the house of Taurus, that has always been a omen for governments on Earth. It represents upheaval.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. This is a big energetic time that we're in. We just had an eclipse on a
This is
full
a different too.
This is huge, Wayne. I can feel it in every cell of my body. It seems to be bringing a weight down, and in a energy drawing property to it. It's literally trying to take our charge away right now. It feels like it's pulling the life force energy. Like it's literally trying to do that. That's what it feels like to me. Magnetic in essence too.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, and I want to thank Marsha Price. Much love to you, hon. This love, Marsha. I mean, but so she pointed out that this is a very strange time, and I see it represented in many different channels out there, that everyone is sensing this.
Yeah.
It's really odd that we had our leader of our country put a curse on all of us. And I don't know if everyone listening to this, but this is what happened 2 days ago, I believe, whenever he made the comment. Maybe it was Saturday, but in any case, he spoke a curse over the United States. And The only way that you can reverse these curses is that you can't allow that word to go forth. You have to intervene and say, no, I reverse that curse. I come against your words. And what I speak is calm. I speak peace, and I speak unity, not death, not desolation, not the winter of death and desolation. No, I won't receive that. And if we can get unified behind this, we've got to reverse this curse that has been spoken out by, I don't believe by a human, but I believe by a demonic being that is trying to sway history.
That would make perfect sense. That's what I've always seen.
Either your words are important or they're not.
Right. Oh, and we know that they are. It's indisputable. It's indisputable.
Yeah. We're going to be the oases, of, even if the platform was to go down, we would eventually find a place, and there are other places.
That peace, you were like focusing on unity and peace. I have been literally hearing that for 2 days. It's like, it's time now to cancel the energy, and the opposite of the same thing is peace. Exactly what you're saying.
I spoke it yesterday.
This is how it is done. And every time I feel these energies coming in, I feel a storm coming. I'm like, what's the opposite of a storm? Calm. Everything, I'm just like, flip it, flip it, flip it. And I just keep seeing that. And it's interesting though, because we are in such resonance, because peace, literally peace has been on my mind heavy for 2 days. And you're talking, we need peace, we need calm. And it's like, that's exactly what I'm hearing. So like you said, it doesn't matter if these forms go down, we're still communicating intensely.
Oh, we are. 2 weeks ago.
Same words.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people are finding that, and I'm seeing in the chat room. Hello, everybody. We love you. All the moderators and all the tribe members. How y'all doing? But it's like I said yesterday. There is. Lynn and I know the exact day that it changed here, and it's not just me; it's her too. There is, and I cannot. It supersedes this realm. There is, and it's funny, as I said yesterday, we're still adjusting to it. There is this profound, deep-seated peace, this serenity.
When you said that, I heard so loud, be still and know that I am God.
Well, and that's what it is, serenity. It's one of those words we don't hear anymore, Yes. It was, a serene scene, but the serenity of it's a peace that's, it surpasses all understanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard place to get to, but I've been there a few times, and it is, there's, you could want for nothing in that energy.
That is what it is. It's just an over, and what we find, I know myself, is it's almost in this perpetual state of gratitude.
That's how I can get to all the higher frequencies. Doesn't matter which one I want to go for. As soon as I can get into the frequency of gratitude, I got an open gate to anything I want. It's gratitude.
I think it's true.
Yeah, it's my key. It's always been one of my primary golden keys for all is just simply thank you. It is a powerful frequency.
Attitude of gratitude is. And
yep.
And it's interesting. Guy and Paul sent me some information, and Lynn and I were talking. It's interesting. I'll share this because this is all part of the winter solstice. This is the time of where I see that we're entering into a time and a period that's going to be extremely unsettled.
Yeah.
But if you are settled here, and here already. That'll bring settle here where fear, and that's all we're seeing right now being used. It's fear. It's like they're wielding fear as a sword. And if you get caught in its path, it can decapitate you. I mean, it can literally separate you from your emotions, from your own will.
Yep. And that's what they're counting on. But, you know, so many people that understand now that these objectives are being used specifically to initiate and create fear. Many people are actually seeing the game. So that's going to be the saving grace, is because a lot of people are aware and they know, as we are learning and they're learning, when you see something coming, you focus on the absolute opposite of it and you lessen the blow or you cancel it out altogether. And this is what we're going to keep seeing. And Wayne, I know we won. We won. So it's just how this is going to manifest. And it's not going to be, transition's always rough because humans don't like to let go of their habits.
By the way, Big Al is on vacation now.
Yay, Al.
David Perry, we send love to you. And I just say happy Festivus. That's what will be my show, I think Thursday. And because, you know, we are in a time again, if you take the materialism out, Trina, of what we're doing, it's quite interesting. And I don't know if this will allow me. Let me see if we can do this. I don't know, Trina. We're going to try this. You know, we're just going to speak. Can you see that?
Oh, it's spinning. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me see.
Because if it goes dark, we'll stop. Yeah. So because there goes my screen. Yeah, we gotta. Well, we'll speak of it as I read it. So this is titled Season Greetings. And it says, since ancient times, people have waited through the cold, dark days of winter for the return of the warmth and the light. Throughout history and across many cultures, festivals of light have been practiced during this time of year. Sol Invictus was one such celebration held on December 25th during the Roman times. Sol Invictus literally means the unconquered sun. As we pass through the longest nights of the year, and by the way, if you chart the sun in its annual transition, it's the infinity sign, by the way.
It sure is.
Yeah. Is there any sign to that?
Yes.
I don't know. And it's really odd. Someone sent me, I was reading, it was heavily biased in the Christian belief. And it was saying to people who believe in looking at celestial signs and planets, and they said how they're foolish and lower intelligent. And I said, but wait a minute. Your three magicians saw a sign in the heavens and they followed it and found your Christ. So I don't know.
You know what's so strange, Wayne? I keep seeing the correlation between the soul and the blood. And I keep seeing a correlation between, like, you know, how the sun makes the infinity sign. I bet that's the 8th dimensional gate.
Bingo.
Yeah. So I all like coming together in my head. And it's like one and the 1 and the 9 are the same exact thing, because think about it. The number 9 is a 1 and it loops back into itself. Start again. So it's not, there's no 10, it's 0 through 9. And there's 9 dimensions in the material start, even to I think the 9th dimension is like, start over, go back to oneness. It's like you've graduated or you're.
That's an interesting thing, because, you know, I perceive that there may be the opportunity for, as I see myself, I have my life path 9, but, you know, that means to finish. It means to complete. See? And, you know, and I think that, you know, I don't know, maybe we are victims. Maybe we are prisoners of Chronos, of Saturn, of time. Maybe that's what makes it interesting. I mean, I
think on that, I think it's another one of the dimensional gates, which is part of you. So until you can get into a timeless state of vibration, you're stuck in time. But it's about your consciousness. So the dimensions are all inside of you. And it's just a matter of accessing the different vibratory levels. Like you, Wayne, you're in the 8th dimension, like all the time.
I don't know where I'm at sometimes.
Yeah. And then
But I'm having fun.
yeah, and then you jump from the 4th. The 4th is how you get to the 8th, and I'm seeing how we're existing and bouncing through all of them, all of the time. And 7, the 7 is like the rays of God, the light beams. Remember the light I saw that came out of that light thing?
Hmm.
It's light beams. That's the 7, and the 7 is like I am God, but there's multiple levels of that awareness. It's profound, and I'm starting to understand what they mean when multidimensional being. Yeah, because it's all inside of you and it's attached to those planets in the
Well,
chakra.
it's a question, and then becomes, are they also ruled by time?
No.
See, that's an interesting, it's interesting because here we are at this time. This is something that's been done through all human history. It's really interesting. It was saying here that the winter solstice has been celebrated in cultures the world over for tens of thousands of years. That's interesting. This
Yeah.
starts, the solar year is a celebration of light and the rebirth of the sun. In old Europe, it was known as Yule, from the Norse, Jule, meaning wheel. Today, many people in Western-based cultures refer to this holiday as Christmas, yet a look into its origins of Christmas reveals its pagan roots. Emperor Aurelian established December 25th as the birthday of this invincible sun. In the 3rd century, as part of the Roman winter solstice celebrations. Shortly thereafter, in the year 273, the Christian Church selected this day to represent the birthday of Jesus, and by 336, this Roman solar feast day was Christianized. January 6th, celebrated as the Epiphany in Christendom and linked with the visit of the Magi, was originally an Egyptian date for the winter solstice.
Yes, it's all about the movement of the sun, which is how we perceive in this reality the light. So the light, everything, the more I'm looking about this, is all this is different, different spectrums of light.
Well, I think what I was driving on the point was that we celebrate something today that we have no idea what we're really celebrating. As this points out, most people think that this is a Christian holiday, but just much like Easter is a pagan holiday,
Yeah.
so is the winter solstice, of which now they've materialized it, and the Christendom of is what they've done. And but here's really interesting, as I was reading this, and I wish I could share this with everybody, is the fact that when you look at this, that this has been throughout, since way back before even the Egyptians, Horus.
Yeah, Tammuz and Mithril.
Yeah.
All of those deities, and then Thoth, all of it, it's all the same story.
It's all the same story. It's
the 3 days died, and all of them were resurrected, and
so that's interesting. So you just used the word. I wasn't going to use it, but you said it. So is this really based on this reincarnation? Because if you think about it, that's all what we're talking. This is a recycle machine.
Yes, that would make so much sense to me. For real, yeah.
Freaks me out a little bit because I get the whole idea about the rebirth and, the days are starting longer. Yeah, I get that. But wait a minute. I've been through this cycle. On December 25th, it'll be 66.6.6, you're going, okay, so I've seen this a while. You have too. All of us have.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So is this where our ancestors get the idea of the hope? I mean, is the resurrection merely a synonym for what we would call reincarnation, incarnation?
And see, Wayne, I see it goes both ways depending on your consciousness. Because if you don't understand that this is a reincarnation loop that you can get stuck in, you can get stuck into that, and it will happen, and that will be your resurrection. But if you understand that you have consciousness and you can not choose to come back into a material realm, you could choose that with your consciousness, and that resurrection would be bringing you into a different dimensional existence. So you would be resurrecting either way. So I can see it having two aspects on the same thing.
I just got to say this: wheels suck. I mean, if you had a square, makes sense. But no, I'm just teasing because it's. I hope that's the case. I mean, I really do.
Makes sense to me, because like one dimension would be the dot, and then the 2-dimension is the line, and that's where you get the polarity. And then this is a 3rd-dimensional realm. That's why we have length, height, and width. And then the 4th is the cube, and the cube is like the hypercube and the tetrasac, and it's like it opens up the north, south, east, west, all corners, all possibilities, all potential. That's astral, but there's still no control there. Then you get to the 5th. The 5th is the more of the I am presence. Like, you're building on an awareness of what you really are. So the less connected to your spiritual part, the denser wherever you're going to go with once you drop your physical body is going to take you to. Because I think you're just going to vibrate with the codes that's in your blood from your experience. So I think every time you come into a physical anything, even maybe other planets, every time you do that, I think you gain information in your DNA code. And that's attached to bodies that don't ever come into the physical realm, from what I've seen. So this is like, we're collecting data. And think about, what is the most important thing of a computer is how much data can it hold and how much data can it process. It's about data. We're gathering.
Think Agape Love says it's ascension time. Some will go and some won't go. I mean, it's emerging right now, because this is what I'm seeing. I came out of Christianity. I never liked Christmas. Christmas for me, most of my life, it just wasn't pleasant time, so I never was really attached to it. But my point to this is, what's happening now has never happened before. For instance, we as a culture, as a society, are seeing the huge gaps open up. And the reason is that, and in fact, it was real interesting. This was on AP, that the recent survey shows that, for instance, Christianity, which at one time in America accounted for nearly 91%. 91% of all the people in America were Christian.
Yeah.
That number today, for the first time, which is becoming very alarming, is now at 61%. Now, if you correlate that, that means you basically have some 80 million people that have now left a belief system that are now kind of going, FT, or WTF. I mean, that's exactly what they're saying, because it's like, and the thing about us is that I see with most people that have a similar type spirit is that we have to have something of the spiritual.
Yeah.
And if we don't, there's this huge void, and then you get into the nihilism.
Yes.
So that's what I'm seeing. And that bodes, because that means 80 million people who were devoted in a single construct that has been cut off now. So where does that energy go?
Well, it's like they took away their pacifiers, and they took away
that's a good point.
Their foundation. You can't rip those things away without helping them adopt new patterns and new strengths within their own spiritual connection. Because this is like, they literally feel like they're being unplugged from their God. And they don't know what to believe anymore. And Wayne, I saw this years ago, that people would not believe anything, because they would get so frustrated that they would just not believe anything. And it was a scary thing that I was seeing with that, because they were so confused, because they didn't know what to believe anymore, because everything that they thought was one way is another way. And it was just so much information so fast, it just kind of flipped them out to where they were like, I just can't believe anything anymore. And I think that's damaging, because it's damaging
It
for their
is
own
damaging.
growth.
And
Yeah.
that's really kind of the
It's
point,
like
because
stopping growth right there. Oh,
yeah.
I'm scared, so I'm just going to freeze. It's like, that might not be a good choice.
Yeah, and and the problem that it becomes, and someone said, well, over in Europe, it seems to be the other way. I don't know what it is in Europe. I don't live there. But I know what happens here. I mean, I come out of that industry. I did invent the whole payment system for that sector. But anyway, and we're seeing it, I think, correspond in society now. I mean, I see a lot of people that in many ways, they've got what they used to say, the war phenomenon. They have that 1,000-mile look in their eye.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, that potential is getting pretty serious, and I think people feel it.
mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
we've been through stuff like this in our past lives or whatever. So I think our DNA, we have an alarm system within us that knows when things are getting weird, and we sense it. And I mean, it's always happened. We've had things like this in the past have happened, and we've always had an awareness of it. It's kind of like when danger is eminently present, everything in your system knows it. And you don't know how you know it, but you just do. I
Twilight
think
Traveler
everybody's
says
feeling that.
this today starts Saturnalia Day. And,
Yes.
again, here we go.
And,
I
it's so
mean,
crazy, the Brotherhood of Satan clause, and it's the Brotherhood of the cube.
the
It's
cube. It's the
yeah,
cube. Did you hear what I showed yesterday with Mayfield, Kentucky?
mhm.
Now, folks, it gets even stranger. I'm going to have this young
Crazy.
lady. Go ahead.
I said, "That's crazy." When you showed that, I
It
was like,
gets
"Whoa, this is
even.
crazy."
We have no idea.
And did you know that's where most of our grain is kept? That was our biggest grain place. Like,
I'm just going to read a little bit of this to you. This will tantalize everyone because I'm trying to get her on next week. And she wrote this. She said, so I wrote this the day after hearing about the recent tornadoes in Mayfield, Kentucky. I had shared it with my mom, and she mentioned that I should share it here with you. So she said, all right. So she sent this. Thanks, Mom. Much
yes,
love to you.
yes.
And this whole tribe gives you a big salute. Your daughter has she's this young woman is a born intuitive. So she
Mhm.
writes, 400 years ago, 1621, the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock in the Mayflower ship, the Fortune ship, the Anne ship, and the St. James ship. The tornado that just hit was in Mayfield, which is correlated to Mayflower ship. The mayor of Mayfield has the last name of Anne in her name. That's the Anne ship. The tornado destroyed the bank, the Fortune ship, and the American flag was destroyed, and some of the churches were destroyed, the St. James ship. Oh, the tornado hit 4 states, and there were 4 ships, which all equal a square. Four
Wow.
corners of the earth, 4 quarters equals a whole, $1. Also, 4 tornadoes touched down in the same state of Kentucky. The biggest in the city of Mayfield is, get this, Graves County. We lay to rest in what we call graves. The big candle factory, which was destroyed. Are you ready for this? The Pilgrims traded candles to the Indians. It was another genocide sacrificed by the elite. The town was completely destroyed. They have no water. The water supply has been damaged, and the main town has no electricity. The tornado hit near Highway 45. 4 plus 5 equals 9. In numerology, 9 means the end. It is a full cycle beginning to end when the pilgrims landed here and built their square colonies, and the end when their square colonies were destroyed. It's a man-made karmatic cycle of 400 years. The tornado went over 400 miles, and it goes on and on and on. What happened here,
spot on.
Vast majority of the population of humanity has missed this. And she followed this up with another email today. The more you get into this, there is something being shouted to us. And I remember, Brian, the shows that we did. Yeah. So this winter solstice is probably going to be unlike anyone that in recent memory.
I think you're right.
What do you think of that? What I just read to you?
I think it's spot on. I think it's absolutely
profound, isn't it?
Yes, and it's the warning of how all the square buildings and all this stuff, they're coming down. They're coming down.
She pointed out, and she sent pictures. If you look at the city of Mayfield, you'll see that the vast majority of the town was they were, and it's very distinguished, square blocks.
Wow.
Square block after square block destroyed. The candle factory, I believe, was the Pilgrim candles. They couldn't light their candles because why? They didn't have no fire, no electricity, no water.
Wow. Yep, it's coming. It's coming. And the X over the United States, that the eclipses, that is, I mean,
Mayfield is at the apex.
That's what you were showing. I was like right in the middle. I was like, oh boy, snap, you're right. This is just a prelude of what is to come.
And I'll go back and get those pictures that we took up in Wyoming as the total eclipse was happening. And I captured that. Well, it looked like a temple. I don't know if you remember those pictures. I'll have to bring them back up. Yeah. Oh, go back in the archives. I know it's sometimes tedious, but I'll pull them back up. I'll remember to do that. But anyway, well, I had several cameras going at this moment of where we hit, I guess, what they call totality. You have that fine sliver. Oh, that's when the temple opened up. You could see
the pyramids.
The pyramid. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Those pictures. Oh, Wayne, those pictures are amazing.
When that picture was taken, the snakes were everywhere. Right before the eclipse happens, you have the snakes that are a result of the way that the light. And it freaked out Dancer because she could see there looked like snakes on the ground. Looked like they were everywhere.
I saw somebody tape that on their, it was a wood deck out back. And that's what I was like, whoa, it's
real,
so
man.
Creepy.
It is. It's like and
whoa, my gosh. Yeah, it looked like moving. I was like,
that's what it was. Yeah, it was really just like, whoa.
And then so many people saw the octopus.
Gemini Ascension says, I came in late. Who wrote these pages? This is a guest we're going to have on. This is her. She was plugged into something, and she's plugged into something profound. And like I said, I didn't read all of it. There's 4 pages here. And whoa, when you get through it, you just have to, you got to, you go, okay, all right. I remember enough in my Bible school days, and I studied prophecy. We've got like 8 helicopters passing over.
Wow.
Military.
Holy moly.
There's at least in everything shaking in the house. That's how low they are.
Hear it. Yeah, I think I can hear it.
It's you're going to hear it more as they continue to pass over. Do you hear that?
No, we can't hear it.
Oh yeah, you can.
You can. I'm sure you can.
Oh yeah, it's in my headphones. It's like anyway. So, signs were always given to priests, kings, that was the whole thing of Nebuchadnezzar with Daniel, was when Nebuchadnezzar saw the handwriting on the wall and he needed someone in his priest, his magicians, to do the interpretation. And remember, he went through all of his magicians and prophets and they couldn't, but Daniel did. But my point is that they say that there's always signs that gives everyone time to fully prepare.
Yeah.
And
in most of the preparation is just going to be your spiritual
that's what I'm saying. Now common sense says, and Myra, you're right. I've said this on the Steiger perspective. Go back. In fact, it was funny. Someone wrote me last week and they said, would you stop predicting? Everything you said has come to pass. Would you just shut up? And of course, they were laughing.
Yes, exactly. They're like, stop, Wayne.
Would you just shut up, man? Drink your tea, Yep. Hey, Darlene, much love to you, dear. Good to see you. Completely lost that train of thought, which probably, but
well, all I can say is that I know your insight is profound.
War is coming. I'm just telling everyone, war's coming. My concern is, and my deep concern is, I think they're going to use tactical nukes. Mm-hmm. I really do. And because Russia is going to attack the Ukraine. I'm hearing right now there is a high likelihood that this attack will happen on Christmas Eve, which
I'm hearing too.
And I don't know how NATO will respond, but this is where we are now as a world. And it's,
Wayne? Something really cool happened to me the other day because I heard that same information. That looks like this is coming and it's going to happen. And then I prayed that when the soldiers met the people at the border and they started to started rounding people up, that they would recognize their cousins, their uncles, family members they hadn't seen since they were kids, that people would understand that we're family and not to come against each other and to actually embrace each other and unite.
Maybe there's some soldier that's on the PA system in these things where they'll put on the Pointer Sisters. We are family.
It was really
you and me.
I woke up this morning and I saw a picture of a protest and two childhood friends saw each other. One was the soldier, one was the protester, and they were embracing. And the emotion
Love it.
Faces was like, it literally manifested the next morning on my YouTube feed. I was like, I'm onto something with this.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, the family.
They're listening to us because yesterday morning, so I'm in here and I'm making breakfast. And so I put on John Lennon. All we are saying is give peace a chance. And, and it's odd. Lynn was upstairs. She said, how odd, she said, that I was just thinking that, not more than, and I said, yeah, something's going on. And then it comes on the YouTube feed. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Got to feed the bots.
but I wasn't saying it out loud. And it showed up on my phone. I was praying.
Yeah. Okay.
I was seeing.
Now that even gets more weirder because, if they're,
I didn't say a word, Wayne. I didn't say
it's like,
nothing.
Okay.
And it showed up the next morning on my phone. I was like, whoa, but wow, on the same hand, whoa, but wow, that was a great thing to see. They were so emotional. Like, I can't believe it's you, and the tears running down his face. It was a beautiful image. Oh, beautiful image.
And that's a type of imagery we need to start. That's with that attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
It's like, man, I thought we had enough of this back in the late 60s and early 70s. I mean, the South was on fire, the West Coast was on fire, same thing. And, I keep saying we had the music, we had that spirit of Woodstock, and Woodstock was not this, this Elysium that, we sometimes want to think. I mean, sitting in mud sucks, but
Yeah.
it brought the essence that, we could love one another.
Yes.
If there's anything else, is the fact that we bleed all the same color.
Yes.
I remember the protest in Houston, Texas. Many of you who live in Houston, I grew up in the Montrose area. Anyway, downtown where West Main comes in, there was a protest, and actually it was because Henry Kissinger was in town. And I remember just seeing this one cop just beating the crap out of this girl. I mean, and I rushed the cop, and, as I was coming up, they started spraying my face with the tear gas. But I kept on thinking, and I remember screaming at this cop. We called them pigs back there in those days, is that why? Why are you beating a woman,
right,
a young girl who didn't do anything? She can't fight against you.
Right.
And I said, do you see her blood? It's the same as yours.
Yep.
And I still remember this day, and I don't know if it was the tear gas that his, eyes started welling up, but he walked away. But anyway, saved her probably. Anyway, and I
thank God you were there to save her.
That's what bothers me. I mean, I see the rhetoric that is all around that's feeding this delusion, this fear, this amping it up, and it's dividing people.
Yeah, and then we got to deal with the potential with voice to skull technology. A lot of people.
Yes. I mean, there's all sorts of crap they're deploying.
Well, we're seeing it already. We're seeing cognitive issues. We're seeing anxiety issues. We're seeing suicides. We're seeing there's a lot going on, and there's like violence is increased off the charts. Anywhere you look in the United States, I don't care where you look, you can see that this is a rolling thing that's happening. People are addressing the issues of the amount of females who have suffered miscarriages this year, and they're grieving and they're traumatized, and there's no voice for that. Nobody's even giving any, because we've had an 800% increase in the loss of babies, unborn babies' lives. There's a lot going on, and nobody's even really talking about it. So,
well, in fact, this morning in the journal, the United States, for the first time ever, we're actually seeing a depopulation.
Yes.
So we're not producing enough babies to replace the people that are expiring.
I have 3 females I know right now who are supposed to be giving birth this month. 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of, it's alarming because, and again, this is part of this winter solstice. There is so much. I read in one commentary that this year, 2021, is, as this person was writing this op-ed piece, has to be the progenitor of something that awaits us all. And his perspective was, there is this darkness. That's all he could see. He says, I wish I could sit here and say that I could point to something and say, here's some good news.
There's 2 ends of the same stick, Wayne.
And I'm looking at it and I'm going, I can see all this, but there's also this part of me that says, I'm going to be okay. In fact, I'm going to be better than okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's where I'm at. There's going to be 2 ends of the same stick. Nobody's going to experience this the same way. Nobody.
I mean, there's times when I feel like I'm walking on sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine. Yeah. Oh yeah. And and I want to say to David Castle, I love David Castle because he gets up with the right attitude. He transmute that negative, say, honey, I ain't taking it. And
absolutely.
And I can see him and Rufus just getting going all the way across the But that's the point, Trina, is that there may be this dark cloud, but that's okay. You know, I kind of translate this to my way of thinking. Dark clouds bring rain. And if you've been parched, you welcome that dark cloud. It says, baby, rain on me, open up.
Not just that,
And
after the rain is the rainbow.
yes, and then you've
With
got that smell.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because you get the rainbow. And
Yeah.
all of this is about light.
Yeah.
And when we can figure this out, it's all about light, and light is information, light is code, light is love, light is a lot of things. Light is water, light is plasma. It's a lot of things. It's all about light. If we can shine.
Sound is light.
Yes. And if we can sing and shine in the third dimension, this is how we will bridge to the higher dimensions and the higher consciousness levels. It's by shining here. So get your shine on, crazy diamonds.
And, and listen, back in the day in my youth, we used to do framing. Just, get a couple $100. You help guys building a house and you help frame it. My point is, I can remember that Texas sun. And of course, I was, you're literally got the best tan you could ever have in the rest. But when that dark cloud comes over, it's refreshing. It washes the body, and you get the sweat off of you, and I remember working through rainstorms. As long as the lightning wasn't hitting us, we were fine.
Oh, and there is a magical smell about wet dirt, wet lumber, and wet leather on the tool belt. Oh, that's a magical thing.
Well, I can, as you mentioned that, because it's true. Leather, when it, whether it's getting wet by the sweat that you're, emitting from your body or from the environment, it does. And then it gets that subtlety, that subtle feeling to it,
Yes.
Yes. Energy Shifter says, I love me some of that Texas sun. Hey, listen, we got
the Arizona sun. It's a little.
Yeah, y'all do. I mean,
we do.
When I worked on the farm, I mean, that's what I did for, number of summers was, we were up before the sun was up, because it gets hot in Texas and the Gulf Plains, just like it does down in, Phoenix, that's sun. And here in Denver now, we've had the endless Indian summer. It just never ends. But yeah, I mean, you work all day out in the garden pulling weeds. Yeah.
Well, Wayne, we're going into the dark winter. This much we know. They've been telling us for quite a while.
Yeah, but I'm the light. In fact, I got to tell you what, I'm that laser light.
Well, you can take it in, because when you go into the winter, you're going into the cold. But it's just a cycle. So if we're going to go into a cycle, to bunker down for the winter, and then you're okay. So it's just about trusting what and trying to prepare as best as you can for weirdness, because we might be seeing some weirdness. And if you do that, you'll be okay. And if you are okay, then you will be able to emanate the light in the dark. So that's what we're here to be. We're here to be the candles amongst the chaos. And each one of our lights will make a very big difference in the outcome of the chaos.
Energy Shifter says it's 61 in Dallas, Fort Worth. Well, you want to know something? Since I know we have so many good Texans down there. Big Al was texting me right and forth. So it's 61 in Dallas, Fort Worth. Do you want to know what it is in my part of the country?
Yeah.
63.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're warmer than Texas. What the heck is that about? I don't know.
Crazy.
Crazy.
You guys are getting so warm. It's so weird.
At night is what my concern is about. At night, we're not getting down to where for the longest time, we were 35 degrees above normal.
That's a lot.
At night. Yeah. So crazy. And there's, again, going into it, I think next week, whoever would like to join us, I'd like to maybe have a show, Trina, maybe do 2 second looks, maybe think about doing, because next Friday would be New Year's Eve.
Yes.
So why don't we do another show next Friday? And then if anybody wants to come on, what kind of do, let's just get, if you're an intuitive, if you have something you're seeing, let us know. We'd love to have you come on as a guest and tell us what you're seeing for 2022, whatever the date is. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
2022 or if it's 22, the year
There's
22.
no way we would ever know.
It's like, I said, how old are you? Are you? How old were you when you were born? How old were you, Trina? I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean,
I
how old are
don't
you going to be?
know. Yeah,
My wife stops me. And so she says, all right. She said, I heard some of what you were talking about. And she says, so let's get this thing now. She says, so when we pass over, she says, I never thought about this. How old am I going to be? Am I going to be like I was here, born as a baby, that I'm inside my spirit, but I know that the body is a baby's body and I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do next? I mean, I don't know.
I think that happens to every single one of us, but we just don't remember it. And
all right,
then
Nita, come on.
As the consciousness starts veiling the body, the more you anchor into the body, you start to lose the spiritual and you start to anchor into the body. I think all of us are doing that when we're born. We're like, oh crap.
So are we doing the same thing when we go out? Because this is what I do know.
I think, yeah.
Because birth is apparently the most excruciating pain any human will ever have to endure. In fact, as my wife tells me, that the pain sensors of our body are off the chart. She says that the experience would be tantamount to, she said, someone sticking electrical probes in you and lighting you up.
That's a good definition. Yeah.
And she said, death, on the other hand, she says, like, unless you have a traumatic death, it's, and if you don't fight it,
yeah.
I mean, the transition's like, but if you fight it, it's going to fight you back.
It's like a helium balloon just taking off, no problem. Yeah. That's And I feel that with the animals, because I've had to put animals down now, and I feel them leave, and it's just a gentle. There's no struggle, no bouncing, no nothing. They're just.
Someone asked me. They said, "Well, because I've had a number of NDEs, and the one I remember most is when I was attacked by those African bees." Yeah. And I still remember it's a very peaceful feeling. It's seductive.
Everybody says that, Wayne. That's the most common thing, is the comfort and the peace. And they don't want to come back here because it feels so good to be there. I was like, everybody says that.
Hallelujah, I'm free.
Right. Yeah. But then again, too, part of me wonders, okay, maybe you ought to just like snap out of that euphoria, because I wonder if that's a trap to magnetize you like a moth to a flame. So I wonder about that feeling too, because I think that there's chemicals activated within us. Even when you're in your spiritual body, you still have an energetic, emotional body, a mental body, and even I think part of a causal part of that drops at the physical, though.
Well, neurologists will tell you that why people see the light is that what they're experiencing is thousands of neurons. As you know, at the end of your nerve, you have that little point, and what's happening, it's literally exploding. And that's what your sensation, because they say that we are conscious even after these bodies are dead, but we're conscious in here, and they've measured it, some for as long as 7 minutes.
See, that would make sense, because if you're receiving your consciousness from a remote location, then that means it would take 7 minutes after your expiration for that signal to stop producing in the body. That would make sense to me.
What would you be experiencing? That's what I'm thinking, that freaks me out a little bit.
Not me at all, because I don't even think you would be there for the final physical light show going in the brain. You're already up. You're already gone. You're already out. That's just like a.
That's like what I am.
Like a rattlesnake, it still moves around after it's been dead for a while. To me, it's like the same exact thing. I think you're out instantly. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. And I think that's just the remnant of the stream that was connecting, fizzling out. because once that stream's gone, it's just.
But you're right about those rattlesnakes. We used to hunt them right outside Marble Falls.
Yeah.
And then, you can cut their heads off. And then even when we bring them back to camp and, you take the skin off, they're still, there is still activity in that body,
Yeah, and they will bite you.
Well, we cut the heads off and bury the heads, but you're right. That's the problem.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. Yeah. Super
Yeah.
smart.
You don't want someone hiking along and then stepping on that. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rattlesnake venom. Who knows how long that stuff stays in them?
Well, Trina, hey, Kaz, do you want to come on next week, hon?
Oh, I love Kaz.
She is just fantastic. Well, this hour has gone by. It
just flies. Wayne, I you were so right. We're getting ready to come into some crap, I think. Big crap. So y'all be the opposite of the frequencies we're getting nailed with, because remember, it's just a game. They want to play with us and we can win.
Carlton Powell sent me a video, and I'll bring it out, but it is that supposedly it's this interview of a time traveler that has come back here to Earth, and it's actually a descendant of the Sapiens. He was sent back because there was missing information. He says, and it's interesting because when you watch this, you're going, okay, because he's saying some things about creation that's very interesting. There is no creator. As he said, we have evolved above superstition and false beliefs. Mm-hmm. And so the interrogator is saying, all right. He says, so how did the universe start? He says, you don't understand. It just was. And he says there are many different universes. Some hold life, very few, most don't. Yep. And when you get through the end, the interrogator from the Air Force is saying, all right, so why are you here? You say you're a descendant of us. You don't look anything like sapiens. What happened? And I'll just let everyone know ahead of time. He said, I came here because we're missing data, but we know this. You destroy yourself. And the Air Force interrogator goes, what do you mean? He says, there is a man who ascends to power, who is very controversial, but this man is the trigger. He is the one that starts, and he says, it will start small, but it will begin to go around the world. And it's kind of interesting because when I read stuff coming out of DC, where they're looking at if Russia does in fact invade the Ukraine, that they are going to use tactical nukes. Well, yeah, so that's the kind of thing that if we're really facing this, then, wow. I want to find out what people are really sensing, because everywhere I look, I wish I could find someone who says, no, what we're going to have is a beautiful year. All disagreements are going to go away. Everything is going to be fine. We're going to get back to where it once used to be.
Okay, let's play a game called In the Land of My Imagination.
I like that place.
Yes, in the land.
Anything's possible there, right?
Yeah, in the land of my imagination. What if a magical portal opened up and all of the people who have been controlling the planet for darkness and bad reasons for a very long time all get thrown into that portal? Boo-boo, bye-bye. And then we close the door, and then we get to start a whole new system. And it's based around loving each other and sharing the planet. Wow, what a concept. This might happen.
I love that commune. I'll join that one any day of the week, Yeah.
It's got to be a process of getting them all gathered and getting them portaled out of here. But what if that's what we're doing? And what if that's why we came here, was to be a consciousness that could actually do that and open portals? And we're obviously doing that now. And I don't.
Wouldn't it be great to have music artists that aren't in for the buck, that actually would have a heart I'm talking about
And wouldn't
the,
it be great if we put the frequency back to where it doesn't cause
yeah, could we
anxiety and
get the
stress us out,
music,
make us sick?
back to,
Yeah, 432. Come
I
on.
mean, yeah, I mean, and I'm just thinking to myself, because back in the day, I mean, I remember, the Live Aids, Queen, YouTube. I mean, and even Willie Nelson with Farm Aid. I mean, what we need one is for human aid, because the
Yes,
planet really we need a break.
yes.
I
Well, and
mean,
a small group is controlling like 96% of all the money in the world. So we only get to operate on like 4% of all the money in the world. The whole world gets 4% of the money in the world. Put that into your
I
brain.
want to go to a
Wow.
world where money isn't required.
Yes. And literally people,
Do you think money is required in the spirit realm?
yes, I think it depends on
Jesus
where
said to
you
store your
go.
treasures in heaven where neither, rust, moth, or thief can come in.
And you know why? Because I think those are made of love. And love is the most powerful force in the universe. They can't touch it.
You see, I think we deposit every time we do an act of kindness,
That's
and
love. Yes, that's love.
and I think that particularly those acts of kindness that you don't get any recognition for in the
Yeah.
afterlife, they're really valuable. I mean,
Yes.
they're really valuable.
Wayne, that's what I saw when I saw people doing acts of kindness and loving each other and doing wonderful things and teaching each other, like people teaching each other how to do things. All of those things, when you feel you benefited another human being or an animal or even a project to service and help your fellow community, that always seems to be the thing that humans wanted the most, and the things later that are valued and treasured to the highest extreme measure was those small acts of kindness and the acts of love. And then to give is better to even than receive. When it went to the treasures in heaven, for what I was shown, it was like we feel more joy
Yeah, we do.
than
John
receiving
Price
most of
is
the time.
the best barter is in weed.
The five-fingered plant,
No,
all powerful.
no argument there. All right, Trina, we went way over, but this was fun. I just want to say a favor to everybody,
Yeah,
and we just say happy winter solstice. Yeah, there may be a rough patch coming up, but you know what? I think we're going to be just fine, no matter what the outcome.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And to be that peace will vibrate peace into a world which desperately needs it because they're all scared. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So if you want to come on next week, let us know. We'll do our regular show on Tuesday, but I think next Friday will be fun.
I think so too. I got to make sure I'm off work, but I think I
Yeah,
am.
let me know for sure on that one. All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, we
Yes,
love
that would
all of
be
y'all.
super fun, Wayne. Super
What's
fun.
that? Oh, it was.
Super
This is
fun.
just
And
I
it is a
love the
happy
blouse, by the way. I
solstice.
love that pattern.
Oh,
That is a
thank
beautiful
you.
pattern. It
Thank you very much.
it
It's
works well
super
with you.
comfortable.
It looks comfortable. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just
it is.
saying,
Yeah.
and smile, everyone. I'll share this as we're leaving. So I was the shower time is really kind of an interesting time where you can really
Take
get into meditation, what have you.
time.
And I remember I was thinking about these dark demonic forces that, appeared to be, facing us. And I just started laughing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a gut laugh. I'm
Right
talking a
on.
laugh where you're crying.
Right on.
And I heard my spirit guide said, you just decimated all of them.
Yeah.
They
For
hate it when
real.
you laugh at them.
They
They
do.
hate it. They won't
It's
come around you.
frequency. It's a sound.
Oh
And it
man.
comes from, think about it, belly laughter. What's in the belly? Your gut.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
where do you have your highest intuition powers is typically your gut, even more strong than
That's
the
what I
brain.
say. Gut instinct.
Gut.
Should
You
have
got
listened to my gut.
Yeah, so when you laugh, you're sounding from that solar plexus, that gut, and that sound is like nails to a chalkboard. It is like the champagne glass is gonna fracture. I
I
better
mean, I'm
run.
over like this laughing because so I
Uh-huh.
get out of the shower and I hear this distinct voice. You decimated them. They hate it when they do. They won't come around. I mean, so maybe someone needs to hear that. If you've got some pesky spirits, I mean, they're around. Start laughing at them, and then point your finger at them and start laughing.
And you know what? If I feel them try to touch my body, because I feel that like they try to touch me, because I get my body.
I have to say, get the F out of here.
No, you know what I do?
What?
I literally grab a hold of it with my imagination and I encapsulate it and I send it love, and it goes instantly away. Literally.
That just pisses them off.
You know, anything that you can bring into the light is going to help all of us. So
yeah. And laughter is the best. Does a heart is a good medicine.
Yes, it does.
So thanks for hitting the like button, everybody. And Miss Trina, much love to you, dear. I will see you next week, and let me know about on the New Year's.
I will.
Eve. That'd be kind of fun. We'll do a
yes,
little.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yes,
cats don't laugh at tennis match. What?
I love it. Tennis matches.
I had no idea what that means, but I can see the cats though. I mean, going boom, baby, boom.
Me too. Just watch it. Yeah, me too.
All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Again, happy solstice. This is not going to be all doom and gloom.
No.
No.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Yep. Scotty said that's why I don't get sick. I'm serious. If you laugh, even if you have like a cold, you start laughing, it's gonna
goes away.
Like taking a shot of vitamin C with the zinc of zinc, and
Yes.
All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Sing a song.
Yeah. It's like they got, we started about 6 months ago. Something inside of us told us to begin to change our diet, begin to change our nutrients. And so we've learned to follow that intuition, and boy, are we spot on. So anyway.
That's awesome, Wayne.
Well, everybody can do that. I mean,
But to actually hear your own personal guidance and know what's going to work for your own personal reality is the most powerful, because it's coming from you. I just, bravo.
Yeah, I mean, that simple change in what I heard in my spirit, I've dropped like 15 pounds and, increasing on the muscle mass. So, yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Hey, I was already in good shape. I don't run anymore. I used to run 5 to 6 miles a day. But the knees, yeah. All right, everybody. We're continuing to keep talking, and we're going to let all of you go.
I know, right?
All right, everyone. Much love. We'll see you next week.